crappy facial hair. Yeah, so I don't know. So today we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety and sort of how you can deal with that stuff. If you look at what's going on, sometimes you have things that kind of occur in your life or occur during your day that sort of startle or shock you, and you're not sure how to take it. So we just like the knee jerk reaction, the ready, fire, aim thing instead of the ready, aim, fire. So we need to start looking at how to stop doing that and calculate it a little bit better. So the first thing you need to learn how to do is analyze. I think we've been doing that quite a bit lately. But the event, the thing happens, and you can't overreact to it. You can't show a ton of emotion at what happens. You can't, freak out. You have to look at it or stop for just a second and sort of assess what's happening. Sort of like what happens when you take incoming fire. If you hear the snap of a bullet, you hit the ground. If you hear the incoming, indirect fire from an artillery round or mortar or whatever, you just hit the ground and you stop and you remain quiet and assess first. So that's sort of the first step. You have to assess, and then you have to start weighing your options. What are my actual options? Can I take a direct physical action, or am I sort of limited in that? So that's the first thing you have to do. You have to look at what the possible outcomes are and understand that most of those possible outcomes, in our life are not catastrophic. Our day-to-day life anyway, not generally. So we need to look at that and say, okay, well, I'm not gonna, there are possible outcomes that are going to kind of go my way. Not every outcome is going to, kill me or, be the end of the world or my world. Some things sort of seem like they're the end of the world, but they're not. They're just something difficult that we're going through. And there's a saying, they say, you can't see the forest for the trees. And that's just being sort of surrounded. If you're looking left, right, up, and down, and all you see is the problem or a problem or more problems everywhere you look, you can kind of get overwhelmed with that. So start looking at, how bad will the outcome, worst case scenario, be, and the chances are it's really not going to be that bad. So you have to adjust what your behavior is toward the problem, and it should sort of fit what the problem is. So, for instance, if you're going to be late on your rent or something like that, are they going to kick you out? I mean, if this is a reoccurring thing, maybe they'll give you the warning, but this is the first instance of that happening. It's probably not going to end up with you being thrown out on the street. If you mess something up or miss a deadline at work, are they going to fire you right away? No. I mean, things happen. If you're doing your best to fulfill the duties inherent in your role, at that job or in your family or whatever, then you probably won't get fired for any of that stuff on the first or second occasion. So we need to look at how affected we are going to be, and are we going to be that affected? And most of the time we're not. We just sort of over worry, we overreact, and that's detrimental to our happiness every day, because some of that negative can continue to lead to negative, and it's difficult to break out of that cycle. So there's a couple things that we like to do when we can anticipate being in a difficult situation or a stressful situation. And there's 4x4 breathing that you can sort of preempt or precipitate the movement or the activity or the event with like a 4x4 breathing. So you can always sort of visualize while you're doing this breathing technique. You can visualize yourself winning. You can visualize yourself achieving your goal, meeting your deadline, winning the race, whatever it is, and always see yourself coming through whenever you visualize what's happening. What's going to happen. Always visualize yourself winning. Maybe get yourself in the trouble in your head, sort of like play the tape in your head on how it's going to go, and you can get yourself into trouble and then get yourself out, right? And the 4x4 breathing part of that, like while you're visualizing, you can breathe in 4 times. It's just 4 slow seconds in and 4 slow seconds out. You do that times 4, and then you just hold the last piece 4 seconds, and then that will sort of shut off your autonomic nervous system and allow you to sort of think more critically, more logically, instead of based on your emotional state. So just continue to see yourself as, the hero of your own movie. See yourself winning, see yourself sort of being in trouble, being kind of down and out, whatever it is, but always see yourself coming out on top. And again, we're going to talk about more of that, like positive self-talk. Keep talking yourself up. Keep, being positive and just really good to yourself first. Because if you're good to yourself, then you can be good